I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and there are a lot of Android devices on the market, but there's arguably two high-end devices that are making their way into consumers' hands right now. The HTC One X is one of those. The other one is the Samsung Galaxy S3. This thing is out internationally, coming soon to the US, and the question is, can this device top the Android charts? We're going to find out in the full review. Let's talk Galaxy. Samsung's iconic device is finally here. This is the Galaxy S3. It's available internationally right now. Coming to the US soon, starting on the 21st of June. It's coming to Verizon, AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, and US Cellular. And for more information on that, check out the site, PhoneDog.com. We've got detailed dates and more. But just out of the gate, the international one's a little bit different in terms of specs. It's packing a 1.4 gigahertz quad-core Exynos processor. Now, when this thing comes to the US, it's going to have a dual-core 1.5 gigahertz Snapdragon S4 processor. Reason being, LTE doesn't play nice with Exynos, so it's got to go to the Snapdragon S4 processor. Still very speedy. Don't expect any issues, but when we get the US builds, we'll do reviews on those as well. 4.8-inch Super AMOLED HD display, which is same across the board. Beautiful display, 720p, an 8-megapixel camera with 1080p HD video recording, and some really cool features, which we'll talk about a little bit later. A 1.9-megapixel front-facing camera. Android 4.0, also known as Ice Cream Sandwich, with the new TouchWiz pre-installed. There's no version number on this one. It's kind of like TouchWiz 2012, or the new version of TouchWiz, as you can see right here. And then it has a 2,100 milliamp hour battery, which is non-removable, and that's a really nice touch as well. When you look at like non-removable batteries like the One X, the One S, sure, it adds a little bit to the design aesthetic, you know, where you've got a nice kind of polished device, but I like the ability to remove my battery, and I think they've done a good job with kind of making the chrome here, and the chrome combining with the color, it makes it look good, and you don't really notice that it's a non-removable battery. What I'm trying to say is, the design looks about the same to me as one with a non-removable battery, so it's a nice touch. This out of the gate, available internationally, coming soon to the US. First of all, got to give some love, big love to Best Buy Mobile for hooking us up with phones for use in our OnePaw Bandit game. When you go to Best Buy Mobile to get your Galaxy S3, you'll walk out working to help you set up your email, your web, all your settings. They'll walk you through TouchWiz and Android 4.0, so when you walk out the door, you're good to go. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about this device because obviously we do a lot of Android coverage on PhoneDog, and it's one of those things, we focus on Android quite a bit on PhoneDog just because there's so many Android devices that are coming out. So for the Galaxy S3 review, I really want to highlight some of the features that make this device really unique, because in all honesty, this is one of the best Android devices I've had my hands on. The Galaxy S2 did a great job, the unlocked version and the AT&T version, the original one, that is. Great processor, 1.2 gigahertz dual-core Exynos, a pretty perfect size. This one kind of steps it up a little bit. Beautiful display. It's a little bit bigger, but it still fits nicely in the hand, and it's got this physical button at the bottom, which is actually coming to the US versions as well. But I want to focus, a little bit on what makes this device awesome, as opposed to maybe the One X, or as opposed to another high-end Android device, the Droid Razr, something like that, on the market. And I think you'll see a lot of differences. First of all, let's go through TouchWiz here and take a look. And you can see it's a whole new build of TouchWiz, and you can really see how fluid this device is. And there are things I like a lot about it. Very fluid. I've seen no lag on this device just yet. I've been working with this and carrying it as my personal device. If you follow PhoneDog.com, YouTube.com/PhoneDog, you'll see my 30-day challenge that I'm working with right now. Just came back from meetings in San Francisco, performed really well while traveling. And you can see I've been, since 6 o'clock this morning, I've had it off the charger at 33%. I'd consider that to be pretty decent with the moderate to heavy use that I use my phone for. So we'll talk about that a little bit later in part 2. But out of the gate, you get All Share Play. You get a couple of different applications. Samsung's Chat On. And now keep in mind, this is the international version with AT&T or Verizon or whoever. You're going to have some pre-installed carrier stuff. But out of the gate on this version, Dropbox, you get, what else? All this other stuff are things that I've installed. You get Google Plus integration, local, you get Music Player, and you'll notice little things like Music Player. There's Samsung customized icons, more services, and more. Quadrant Standard clearly does not come out of the gate. That's something I installed. But you can see Samsung apps as well, kind of an app store within an app store. So then, much like Ice Cream Sandwich, you'll see your apps and widgets buttons up here. But you'll notice that unlike Ice Cream Sandwich, it doesn't shift over to widgets, which is something I really like. I can scroll a million times between my apps. I can press and hold here and move through my three app screens that I have, and I can see my downloaded apps by pressing right there and going back. So you can just see how fluid and clean this operating system is. It looks really good. TouchWiz, they've really refined it and made it a great operating system, or great user interface at that. Top Ice Cream Sandwich. Widgets out of the gate, you don't get a whole lot of widgets, but the widgets you do get, pretty decent. You get some alarm stuff out of the box here. Alarm, assistive light, you get calendar. So you'll see some of these are Google, and again, like I did with the app screens, I can scroll through the app, through the widget screens as well and easily access those. So I've got the digital clock, which you saw on my home screen. The simple clock, you can go through all these and see some different things like Double Twist, which is an app that I've downloaded, but you can see the widgets there. Facebook obviously downloaded. FM radio's one, dual clock, so you'll see some Samsung ones, email, and then Gmail. So, this one's obviously a Google one, so we'll press and hold. We're going to bring this over to home screen here just to take a look at. Obviously, I don't have any email accounts to work with on that one on the device that I can show. So let's take a look at something else here. Let's do, let's go to, I'm trying to think of something that's customizable. Maybe Yahoo Finance. Let's do that. So we bring up Yahoo Finance here, and you can see this is a Samsung widget that comes out of the box in the Galaxy S3, and I can really customize this and make it my own. So a lot of the TouchWiz widgets are customizable. Obviously, most of the Android, the ice cream sandwich widgets are customizable, and then out of the gate, you can see 7 home screens here, which scroll. So again, take a look at the fluidity, because to me, that's a big thing with Android. Fluidity, fluidity, fluidity. Android is notorious for being laggy, at least for me. Working with iOS and working with Windows Phone, yeah, you don't get the ability to have widgets and things like that, but you get that fluidity, and that's something I've always wanted to see on Android. Unfortunately, the Galaxy S2 came really close, the Exynos Space Galaxy S2, and I haven't seen any smartphones that have come nearly as close since. This thing blows it out of the water really smoothly. You can see some differences here. First of all, you'll notice a whole new notifications bar here with a bunch of different shortcuts up top. Wi-Fi, GPS, mute, screen rotation, mobile data, Bluetooth, driving mode, a ton of stuff here. And then I can see my quick settings I can access right here and go into settings. I've got them grouped by wireless and network device, and you can see the little toggles here are different. This gets into the customization portion of TouchWiz. They've really done a great job with customization on this device. So first of all, we can go to display and take a look. For example, obviously you get the usual stuff, screen timeout. This is cool, Smart Stay. So it disables the screen timeout if the device detects that your face is watching the screen. And so when I have this checked, if I'm in a dark room, you're going to see a little eye light up right here. And it always knows, it uses a front-facing camera to detect if I'm looking at the display. And when I'm looking at the display doesn't get dark. Little things like that, you'll find a million of these things on the Galaxy S3. And it's little things like that where I'm like, they've really listened to their consumers. They've really made a device that's consumer-friendly with a lot of cool features. So obviously you can come down here and set the font style as well. You can set the font size. You can see tiny. I have it set to tiny. You can take a look at huge. Look how big this is. Big, huge, or actually that's large, but huge is only applied in certain situations, but that's tiny, which I still think that's a little bit large. But screen mode, I can change the screen. I have it on standard right now, but you can adjust the screen power. You can display. This is a huge one for me as well, and if you follow me on Twitter at phonedog_Aaron, as soon as I got this device, this was the first thing I noticed. Notice that there's a battery percentage indicator in the status bar, in the notifications bar rather. You don't have to download anything. You don't have to root your device. You don't have to tweak it, mod it, do anything out of the gate. All you have to do is check this little box. And I'm like, how in the world has Android not had this over the years? Why has there never been a battery percentage? That's something that I absolutely rely on all of my devices. Immediately I went to download my favorite widget, which is Battery Life by Curvefish, and then I saw this and was like, hey, finally got one out of the gate. So it's a nice little touch there. And then you can see another one I want to show you, security down here. And it's odd because you wouldn't think it'd be in security, but obviously I have the screen lock set to swipe. So when I press and hold and close it out and then open it back up, you can see my lock screen here. So this is really cool, and I'll show you some features here, but you've got some shortcuts down here, so if you wanted to access your phone or your browser or your camera, you could easily press and then swipe up. Here's a cool feature as well. We're going to go back, and I have this enabled, and I'll show you in just a second. Press and hold the screen, turn it down, and it activates the camera. It's that easy. A lot of little shortcuts. I'm telling you, there are hundreds of these things on the Galaxy S3. Well, maybe not hundreds, but quite a few where I'm like, it just makes the device so much easier, and it's really, really nice. So lock screen options. We'll go in here and take a look at all these locks. So you can set shortcuts, you can put on an information ticker, which I found this to be really useful. It displays the news at the bottom of the home screen. So I'll show you this. We'll turn the shortcuts off. We'll turn the information ticker on. Camera quick access was what I just showed you. Dual clock when I'm roaming. Weather, which you saw. The set wake up command. So I'll show you that in just a second as well. So I can set wake up commands, and instead of unlocking the device, I can just say something. So we'll turn it off, and first of all, we'll turn it back on. And I'll show you what it looks like. So obviously you can see the news here. I can swipe through and scroll through these without having to open up the actual device itself. I can see the weather. But what's really cool is it says failed to recognize voice. Let's do this. Play music. Let's try to get this to work. I am pretty far away from it, so. Play music. And you can see it just starts right into my music, which is really nice. So you can set that to whatever you want to. You can say, play tunes. You can say, I'm having a good day. You can say whatever you want to say. I asked to record it, and it'll record it 4 times, and then from there, you'll have it set up. So if you want to say check text messages, there are a lot of different ones that you can do, and I'll go back in here to show you. We'll go back into settings, and let's go back down to security because I want to show you this one more time. And we'll go through the lock screen options again. So you've got that option. You can set wake up commands here. So I have check for missed messages, I have play music, I have check schedule, and then I can set another wake up function, unlock, check for missed calls. A lot of different options where I can be like, you could say Aaron Baker, like I said in the first impressions, you could say Aaron Baker rocks my socks, and that would unlock it and make it play music. And you could set that to be your voice tone for however you want it to do. And you can wake up S Voice by saying Hi Galaxy as well, which is a really nice touch. So a lot of different options to really customize this and make it your own. And obviously, we'll go in here and take a look, and you can see the wallpapers as well. A little bit of a difference here. We'll go to Home and Lock Screens, go to Wallpapers, and you can see some of the ones that come out of the gate. I actually think the little flower one is the best one. Actually, this one's pretty nice as well, but I have a hard time making that my home screen. It's a little bit not me, if you will. But this one's pretty nice as well. So you only get 5 out of the gate. You get some live wallpapers. Also, another really nice customization piece, and pardon me while I pull it away here because I am using this as my personal device. I'm going to take you into settings really quickly so you can see this. So you'll notice bubble styles. I can come in here and customize, much like the Galaxy S2, I can customize my text messages. So I see my bubble styles are set up. Not only can I change the bubble style, but I can change the background as well. So I can change these around, make them, you know, like that if I want to. I can come over here and do these. And then I can save that if I want to. I'm not going to save it. But then I have background styles I can select as well. I can change the background color if I want to. And really make this device my own, much like the Galaxy S2, but it's kind of a supercharged version. A ton of stuff in this device where I'm like, really nice features. Why didn't they think of this before? Really nice touches. So good job to Samsung. Let's take a look at the internet browser here, and let's load up phonedog.com. And we'll do, you know what, we'll go to the Galaxy S3 unboxing just so you can take a look. I really want to focus actually on some picture stuff. So we'll look at this really quickly. I want to show you the pinch to zoom. Very responsive with this quad-core Exynos processor. You can see some browser changes. I've got my tabs up here. I'm going to go to actually my friend's website, kchphotos.com. If you look at my pictures on Facebook or on Twitter, she does these, but she's got a lot of high-resolution images. So I just want to show you what it looks like when you bring up a website like that. kchphotos.com loading up. And it should be loading up pretty quickly because I'm on Wi-Fi as opposed to AT&T. So if you bring this in, HSPA Plus in the US will work just fine on AT&T. It's HSPA Plus at a maximum of 21 megabits per second. So that's something to keep in mind. It's not 42 like what's coming to T-Mobile, but it is 21 megabits per second. So obviously you can see some pictures here. And you can see even with a lot of images rolling in the background, very responsive there as well. And you can see we can bring it all the way in on these pictures and really just take a look at the display. It doesn't do it justice. Very, very nice there. And then of course portrait to landscape transitions are nice and fast as well.